Hello and welcome to chapter 119 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Clay. Clay, how you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. Kind of had a busy day actually. Just working, doing a lot of edits, a lot of podcasts. Got to spend a lot of time with Flynn today. That was nice. But yeah, just a not lazy but hard working, relaxed day. I'll say that. Not lazy day, but relaxed day.
That sounds pretty good. I had my first paid work day in a while, so that was fun. Like I was no more free labor there, so that's always nice. And right now, listeners, we're going early simply because of me. I'm assuming the role of designated driver tonight for my girlfriend and her father. They're down watching a concert right now. They're going to be done in about 90 minutes, so we couldn't really go live the typical time that we did. So Clay was nice enough to go a little early and we will get through this. Well, fortunately for us today, but unfortunately too, there's not a lot of news. I managed to comb through some of the accounts and pages I went through to try to find some news. They were not very good. It was bad, but I managed to find a few good topics for us, and we have some great listener questions as well, Clay. So before we get into all that, of course, I have to do the network plugs. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance with Clay and rotating guest host of Jake and Joe. They talk about Power Rangers. They get you covered on the news, the show, the old shows they're reviewing, the comics. They're really excited about the Netflix. They're getting a little bit of news, a little bit and a little bit each more and more for episodes, which is really nice to see them get to talk about that because they know what's coming down the pipe. That rotates bi-weekly with Slice of Film with Katie and guest host Mark and Sarah. I think they did Jurassic World Dominion as the most
Yes,
recent episode
yes, they
that came
did.
out today. I have not got a chance to listen to it because I have not watched the movie yet. That is something that is on the list, but that's probably going to be a film that I watch at release. I'm not a big Jurassic Park fan. Besides the first one, I really enjoyed the first one, but I like it was not a must see after that. So I think I might like The Land Before Time more than Jurassic Park. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud. That just ruined any bit of credibility I had. But on Tuesdays is DC Alliance with myself and Clay. On Wednesdays is superhero discussions. We just finished up Young Justice season 4 Phantoms. We had Christopher Jones on as an interview. Thank you to Joe for joining me for that, and thanks Christopher for giving up your time to join us. He just talked to us a little bit more about Young Justice and Young Justice Targets, which is something myself and Clay are going to check out. That is already out now too. I'm pretty sure. I just haven't had a chance. That's going to be on the weekend reading list for me, Clay. Young
Very
Justice.
nice.
I'm excited and catching up on Radiant Black. I've been talking to Charlie a little bit about Radiant Black, and he's got me pretty jazzed up about the rest of it. I'm at issue 6, and like I said to you and Joe, like issue 4 blew my socks off enough that like I was already in because it all looked cool, but then you
Yeah.
do that Game of Thrones type shit to me, and on issue 4, I'm like, okay, I'm in for this. So yeah. We are covering Spectacular Spider-Man on the wrist of superhero discussions. That'll be coming out on Wednesday, so check that out. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance with Katie and Clay. They have the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi coming up this week. And I, for one, really, really hope that there is another season. I just love these characters so much. I know where they end up, but there's such a space of time, Clay. I really hope we get another season of this.
I I am expecting there to be another season.
Can I ask you
I'm not
something? Because they had it planned, or because it's been such a hit?
uh well, if you've been listening to the show, me and Katie didn't find out that they were planning or, probably thinking about a season 2 since like the beginning of March. Um but for me, I think uh I think SBubs even made a comment about it. I think the inclusion of Riva into the series, I think they're gonna want to continue her story. Um, so I do think this is kind of either a backdoor pilot. The entire series was a backdoor pilot for a Riva series, or Reva will be the main antagonist for a season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That would be both of those interest me. So I really hope I'm excited for the finale. I can't wait for it. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance with Chris and Brent. They get you covered on anything and everything Marvel. They're right into Miss Marvel right now, and right after Miss Marvel ends, Clay, Thor: Love and Thunder begins. What a time! What a ride! Like what a ride! Like consistent content. What is that like, man? What is that like? Like, oh, we have our movies, and then our shows that are tied into our movies. That when the shows end or almost end, here's another new movie. It's astonishingly awesome, if you ask me personally. I love it because I love Marvel, but I just wish
I
you know
mean, we have consistent CW content, kind of. Maybe we
we
have
have
something to say about that today. You
we have
know,
consistent bullshit. If I'm being honest with you, we used up our one curse word already, and we're only 6 minutes in. So sorry about that, but I
Wait,
couldn't
we're
help
only
it.
allowed one curse word on this
I,
show?
I
I've
don't know. I'm
broken
just
that rule
kidding.
so many goddamn times. There's two. There you go.
Wait, okay. Well, if those are curse words, yes, definitely. There you go, S Pubs. That's the news that is not the funnest to discuss. We also have
Consistent Ezra Miller. Yeah.
on Saturdays is a walk through the multiverse with Joe that goes bi-weekly, but for the next couple weeks that is still going weekly on Sundays reviewing The Boys. I was supposed to join Joe this past week, but honestly, listeners, he sounded like if I'm being honest, this is the best way I can describe it when we got on the StreamYard. He sounded like in the Green with Evil episodes of Power Rangers when the Green Ranger sends away Zordon and Zordon's
Is
begging
that
him.
what you were talking about? I had no
Yes,
idea what you guys
yes.
were talking about.
That's what he sounded like. Like he's like, no, Tommy, roar. And that's what Joe sounded like when I was talking to him. It was like he went through a synthesizer, but it was sounded like he was in Zordon in that energy tube. It was the weirdest thing, and it would not go away. It was, but I gave him a big list of notes of what I thought, and it's a great episode. So check that out, and I'll be joining Joe for this next episode, which is supposed to be arguably the most crazy of the series in Herogasm.
Oh yeah,
So
that's gonna be interesting.
that's going to be really fun. So check Joe's show out there. And Sundays monthly is World's Finest True Believers with Chris Balga. That's where Chris and a guest take a look at a comic of a guest's choice. I've been on there. Clay's been on there. Pretty much everyone on the network's been on there and beyond. And they cover everything. It's not just DC and Marvel, too, folks. There are indie books. There are image books. So check that out. That comes out monthly, and it's a great show that Chris does. We also have 3 shows that go live on the Geekverse YouTube channel. DC Alliance goes live on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time normally. Star Wars Alliance goes live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays, and Marvel Alliance goes live at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feed. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance for just Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content. But if you want all the 8 shows on the network, stay subscribed to the Geek Ultimate Alliance on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, Clay, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. A $1 tier is basically our tip jar. You like what we're doing and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. I just posted 2 Patreon exclusive episodes just before we went live tonight. My top 5 YouTube channels, and the one I had the most fun with, my top 5 potato chip flavors. And I kid you not, I went in depth. There was almost a 15 minutes of me talking about chips, what the chips pair well with. There's a whole thing there. And then I stopped saying pair well because I didn't want to sound like a wine snob when I'm talking about chips. So I just went with it goes well with. But it was fun, and it's Canadian flavors too, listeners. So like I blew Clay socks off one evening showing him a bag of nacho crunch it cheesies, Cheeto cheesies. So there's a couple flavors on there that you may have never heard of. So I'm really interested to hear what people think about that one. And we thank all our patrons. We also had a couple new patrons. Clay, I know Charlie was one. Ooh, I had the other one written down too. Just give me 2 seconds to find that.
We were talking all day today.
I know I wrote
and
it in my show notes, but it's not there. I copied it and pasted it from the chat. I know Charlie.
Liar.
No, I did. Stole it
It's
from
not
the
here.
chat. I know. I don't know what's going on. I might have put it in what might have put it in 118 because I had 118 loaded up as well when I was taking the shell of it for
Rookie
119.
mistake. Rookie mistake there, Heinz. From what I am seeing here, it is Joe McKinney?
McKinney.
Yeah, Joe McKinney. And Charlie, thank you so much for joining our Patreon. We will make it worth it. I know that Charlie is listening to the Snell and uh, myself doing the Batman 89 reviews. Charlie, I'm sorry that you have to listen to Snell. But we still have 5 and 6 to review there. And I am trying to plan out some extra Ranger content for Joe, Jake, and I to put out on the Patreon as well.
Well, listeners, get out and check that out. And I'm still twisting Clay's arm about something that will be fun at times and not so fun at times. So we will see when we
Yeah.
get there. We'll see when we get there. We'll see. But we're doing a lot of stuff on Patreon. As plus, Marvel, Chris and Brent are doing the We Can Watch This All Day MCU rewatch. We also have Joe's Multiverse Minutes, where he went through the first 2 seasons of The Boys, as well as he goes through a lot of other things there. And like Clay said, him and Snell are going through the Batman 89 comic. And Katie is going through Star Wars comics with her husband as well, which is fun on its own. Uh, that's all the Patreon content we have. Thank you for anyone that is a patron. But if you aren't, if you can give a quick 60 to 90 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that would be greatly appreciated. Clay, I think that's everything.
You think that's everything?
That was too long. That was like double my normal time. So, sugar, but we got it right there. It's done right in time. We just saw a couple uptick in viewers, and we're going to go right into the news, Clay. And the opening topic is we have some updates for Harley Quinn season 3 that is supposed to come out sometime this summer. We still don't have an exact date. I think they're
Sometime this summer and no exact date.
well,
It is the end of June.
Netflix is flexing Clay and saying like, dude, we do this all the time. We drop things a week after we throw a trailer out. We still haven't seen a trailer for this yet. So, but there is some tidbits that came out from International Animation Film Festival. So, the show's co-executive producer Jennifer Coyle shared a number of key story and character details about season 3, which were reported by Seat Cupra on Twitter. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are on the Eat, Kill, Bang tour, which basically amounts to a glorified honeymoon. Photos are shown at the event. See the 2 lovebirds on the beach. Swamp Thing will be joining the 3rd season. The Court of Owls will make an appearance and possibly bring some crazy parties with them. There will be a reference to Batman the Animated Series and its iconic thunder scene with Harley as Robin. And then Variety's coverage revealed that Coyle's presentation made it clear that Harley and Ivy's honeymoon wasn't going to be all sunshine and rainbows, and there will be explosions and another meeting with Batman. And like I said, the season drops on HBO Max. I don't think they do a full season dump. I think they do weekly episodes, if I'm not mistaken, for that. So that's coming out this summer. I'm really excited to check that out because honestly, Clay, the first season was okay for me, but I really found like the last few episodes of the first season into the second season, it really found its footing and what it wanted to be. It's kind of like when I watched MODOK. It's how I wished MODOK would have got by the end, and it didn't. It was just the exact same thing as it was in the first
Oh,
episode.
I've been enjoying Harley since probably the first episode.
I just feel like they
Since
really
season 1.
found their niche by the last few episodes of the first season and knew like, okay, this is the stuff that really we're good at, and they really focus on that. Like the whole team thing, I didn't think that was going to work, and by the end, I'm like, oh my god, like Clayface, bring them all on. That's awesome. I love that aspect of it. So
Yeah.
I really enjoy the show. It's pretty zany, and some of the things that they like, I think they have free reign now. To be honest with you, to do what they want after the fiasco with Batman being allowed to go down on Catwoman. I think they can just do what they want. And with Court of
I
Owls,
really hope they're able to sneak that in. I
I,
really, really want them to.
I would love for them to be able to as well, Clay. And do you think that there's any chance that
They're basically just like Like WB is going to shit anyway. Like might as well just like throw this in there. And yeah, like there's a new regime. No, so maybe I don't know if Zaslav, is down with the Batman going down, but maybe he can make it happen.
I think if it gives him the green bucks, he'll be down with anything. He seems like a money talks kind of guy, and
Very true.
I'm just curious about the Court of Owls. Like, I don't. I hope you don't bring them in just to do like zany parties. I hope that's what they're perceived as first, but maybe by the end of the season, they're the big bad of the season, kind of like they've been pulling the strings
This is
behind.
this is Harley Quinn though, so there is no big bad, there is no secret ever. There is
Well, there
it's just
was for both
zany and
seasons.
crazy,
Joker
and it's
was.
fine. Yeah,
Joker
but
was.
Joker was the big bad, but it was still a joke. Like it wasn't like serious whatsoever. And
Oh
I
no,
don't
I
expect the
just
Court
don't
of
want them to
Owls.
be used. I just don't want them to use just for the parodies. Like I don't want them to be taken seriously, but I still want them to do just more than just troll some crazy parodies. Like I want them to try to be pulling stuff off, like behind the
Yeah,
scenes. Maybe the joke is they're trying to be puppeteers, but they're just so incompetent at it. That could be the thing. Maybe the talents are really terrible. They're not like any good. There's so many ways. I just don't want them to be like we're just throwing parties. That's all we do. Like if you're going to show them with like show me seeing them being encountered more. That's all. That's all I want to see. I don't want like I said. This show is not about taking stuff serious. That is for sure.
true.
I also wonder will we see Kite Man? Will we get like a backdoor pilot to the Kite Man series? You think?
Probably, we most likely will.
And that's something like I'm not going to say nobody asked for anything, like because I actually enjoyed Kite Man every time he was in this show, but I don't know how that's going to keep up momentum. That's one thing, and like we can't get a Justice League Unlimited season 4 if we're getting like a Kite Man season 1. Like I can't. Who do I have to like? Who do I have to beg to get that? Like if you're giving out animated
Nah,
shows for things.
that's an old show. Nah. That's what they say. That's what they're saying. They're not looking for reboots and everything else now. They want to start new things and they want to grasp something that is making them money now. Harley Quinn is making them money now. So they do the Kite Man show. So I think that is why we probably won't see an anniversary movie with Justice League Unlimited or any of the cast members with that. But that's
We
just me.
could see another incarnation of it if Batman the Cape Crusader is successful, because that is supposed to be like their spin on Batman the Animated Series without having
But
like
we
there's
have
no whole
no
bars.
idea if Conroy is going to be back for the voice.
Oh no, I'm just saying like you said with we might not see Justice League Unlimited. We could get a different take on that. Like we're getting a different take on Batman the Animated Series. Like we're not getting
Oh,
another season of Batman the Animated Series.
I think that Cape Crusader will be its own standalone thing
Oh yeah, I
because
know that. I'm just saying like maybe we'll get
that's
a
how
Justice
people like
League take
Batman.
on that.
Batman can't play with heroes. That's weird.
Oh
He's
my
he's a
god, I love
grounded
it.
character. He's a
I love it.
grounded character. He can't play with Superman. He
I
can't
see
partner up
that's
with
the
Green
worst thing
Lantern.
because
Like
I
that's
enjoy
stupid.
both. I enjoy both. And the best thing about having the Batman you like, Clay, is you can have both. Like you don't have to have Batman encountering a superhero every single time, but the times that you do are special in the season. Like it really like stands out a little bit. Like Batman Brave and the Bold, for example. Not everyone was him encountering another hero. Same thing with the new adventures of Batman and Robin. We'll say we got more of him encountering Superman and stuff. Like you enjoy it. You just don't want a no. This will never happen. Like never. He's only going to be fighting street level thugs. Like we got in like let's just say the implication in the Batman movie where you're only getting these street level thugs, or same thing with the Joker film. You're not getting any like fantastical elements. And I especially with animation, that's kind of stuff that's why I love Harley Quinn. Like they go like we can see all the characters and they're outrageous. So I can't wait to see what we get with that next. Clay, next on the docket we have Shazam 2 adds a veteran Marvel Cinematic Universe composer. Shazam Fury
What
of the Gods. What?
what did this composer do last?
He did Hawkeye and WandaVision.
Okay, okay.
So David Sandberg announced on Twitter he was asked if the old composer was going to come back and do the second movie, and he said because of scheduling, Christoph Beck is going to be the composer for this movie. It's going to be his first DC film, and he's worked on, I think, by the end of next year, he'll have worked on 6 Marvel projects, like for the MCU, I think,
Wow.
including Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp, uh, WandaVision, Hawkeye, and he's going to do Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania next year. So
Very nice.
he's, and I do know I've really enjoyed the score for Hawkeye and WandaVision. So those are 2 that I thought, especially with the way they incorporated for WandaVision the old TV shows, like
Yeah.
the like periods and that shows me that you got some range and skill. So I'm excited about Shazam just in general. I know I didn't put this on here because I don't trust David Sandberg to know if he's just being like pulling people's legs on Twitter, because that's what he does. But he did say that there's so much stuff in Shazam, he's not worried. Like Shazam 2, he's not worried about trailers like he was for Shazam 1, about them showing like too much.
Yeah.
He thinks that there's nothing that he's not worried about it at all, which is refreshing. I'm excited for that. I think I'm excited for Shazam 2. Actually, not even think. I know I'm more excited for Shazam 2 than I am for Black Adam.
Yes, 100%.
Because I think that's one of the more underrated DC EU movies is Shazam. I love that film with the worst DC mom in history of DCEU. even worse than Penguin's mother from Batman Returns, because I mean Penguin looked like Penguin. Billy looked like a cute kid. I'm joking, just joking. Listeners, don't throw away your Penguin kids. But Clay,
Don't throw away your penguin. What?
Batman Returns, Penguin's mother throws him off the edge into the water because he looks like a penguin. Like, that's probably the number 1 for worst mom. But Billy's mom, not too far off, just leaving him at a fair and running away.
No, who is the other like deadbeat parent that everybody hates along like with live action superhero stuff? I can't remember what it was. It's I feel like it's something MCU related.
And on the game says Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu will be fun.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
excited
they
for
will.
them. They are powerhouses, especially when they're on the magical side, which I love. Like Clay said, like Batman being grounded. Like I'm a big fan of fantastical, and Shazam is all about that. So like we're just going to dive more into it because you're expecting all the people who watch first Shazam have now this base knowledge, so you don't have to teach them this base part. You can go from there. So that'll be more refreshing to see them dive a little bit more into the magic side.
Like I know also Sinbad is there just for the joke of Shazam, but like I'm really curious to see how they implement him in the movie.
Yeah,
So
is it just going to be a
that'll be very
one-off
interesting.
scene, or will he actually play a little bit of a part? We'll find out. That comes out in November, I think, or December. November.
It'll be December because
December, yeah.
Black Adam
October.
and yeah, they switched.
Yeah.
So next on the docket,
I thought you might like this one,
will be
considering your video game that you talked about getting great at before. We have a Batman. Frank Miller.
The Dark Knight Returns cover sells for over 2 million at an auction. I did see this before. I didn't really think that you were going to be putting it in the news. It's very interesting because I mean, it seems like auctioning these comics has been very far and in between recently. And it might just be the fact that I'm totally like out of that loop since basically COVID. But selling Dark Knight Returns, is this the classic number 1 issue with the lightning and everything?
Yeah, like his version, like that he drew, like Frank Miller, like his personal one.
Let's see here. It says here, it had a previous record of 600,000 and just went straight to $2 million. Jesus,
that was the previous record of like most ever paid, and same thing during that. I think a page from that, like original art page, like from his book before he put it into the comic, like he drew some of them out on his own sketchbook before he drew them on the comic strip, right? So he sold one of those for 450,000, and then just like Jim Lee's cover for Batman 619 went for 504,000. So, listeners, keep your comics. That's another thing. Just keep your comics nice and tidy and zip locked in your baggies and
Keep
like.
your don't ziplock them.
No,
Go
sorry.
buy bags and boards, and if you can't fit, because the biggest thing about comics, and most people know this, but I think it needs to be reiterated for people who are trying to get into comics, they fill up a lot of space. They fill up a lot of space very, very quickly. So if you don't have your own makeshift drawer or some sort of storage for that, you will need to buy storage. And I will say this, do not buy long boxes. Long boxes in the long run will destroy your back if you're having to go up or downstairs, moving them around. It's horrible.
Also, I might add, please do not store your comics in an area that can possibly flood. Like that is something. How many times, Clay, has it come across the Twitter timeline of people losing comics
Well,
to
like it's
floods?
hard it's hard to like really plan for, I mean, it's not hard to plan for flooding, but like some of that stuff is it just happens, it's mother nature, it just
I know,
happens
but
all the
if you got an
time.
unfinished basement, maybe not leave your line boxes on the floor of your unfinished basement. Like try and put them up on shelves or something. Is the I know it's not
Yes.
as easy. I'm just saying, like, be aware of that because you could possibly lose those comics, and that is brutal way to lose them. It's just a
Yeah.
brutal way to lose them. So it's just
Yeah.
that's something you don't ever want to see that happen to anybody. But it was just crazy the numbers on those comics. It blew my mind a little bit there.
But I need to hear you right now because
Oh.
I saw this on my Twitter feed and I was like, this is amazing. This is like Heinz is like this is his dream for the DCCW. Like it finally happened. Like you must be so happy with how things turned out, right?
Yeah, ecstatic, Clay. Just simply said. Now, if I was following all the shows, like the kind that they tried to pull us on to doing, the kind they tried to pull all the Arrow fans on. Let me get this. I'm just going to come
Well,
at this
look,
from
well, first
just the Arrow fans because the season finale of the Arrow.
before we go into this, just real quick, what we're talking about today is there was a scene last week
What?
that came from The Flash, that came across our timelines, came across TikTok. It was everywhere, and it had pretty much the same reaction from everyone. And this is in regards to John Diggle's problem with becoming a Green Lantern. Um, and they've never even mentioned
No, I was gonna say,
Green
don't say,
Lanterns.
yeah, don't say
Uh,
Green Lantern. I thought
so
at the very least, Wells would have said it there.
yeah.
Sam would
So
have said it.
so now Heinz, go ahead and go on your rant.
Well, I won't go on my rant as much as I'll set it up first, and then I'll talk about why I have issues with it. But listeners, essentially, Diggle has this box. So at the series finale of Arrow, a box crash lands from the space, green glow. Since season 2, people have said that Diggle was going to be John Stewart. In season 7, they showed his father with a last name Stewart. He was Colonel Stewart, so his adopted father. So basically, giving you another Easter egg of he could choose like Stewart, so that it still works. Plays on that. And then, like I said, the finale, green box crashed down from space. You think it's Green Lantern thing. He opens it up. It was a big shining glow, and that's it. So for the last 2 years, we've had Diggle appearing over and over and over again, and not over and over, at least once a season on the DCCW shows, trying to find out what the box means, how to open it for the last like 6 episodes he's appeared.
I have
It-
see the only episode that I ever saw him in was because the only show that I'm watching is Superman and Lois. That literally had nothing to do with his
Green Lantern problem.
journey
Yeah.
with becoming or accepting or whatever his story is supposed to be.
Yeah, and he's supposed to show up again on Superman and Lois in either the last episode or the second last episode or the last episode.
The ring is going to come back to him.
So, but listeners, so they've been teasing that he's gone through several people. They made it once look like he was just the motivational person. Like whenever somebody needed a pep talk, like Diggle would show up. Like he pep talked the guy in Bat Batgirl or Batwoman, sorry. Oh my god, I can't. I'm forgetting his name now. Lucius's son. Uh, I can't remember his name. Cameron Jordan played him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Batwing. So
Yeah.
he basically gave him the pet talk to become Batwing. So that's what I thought he was reduced to. But no, he's here. And I want to say, Clay, this episode was really enjoyable. Besides this gigantic turd, that 6-minute turd that took out the episode. Like for
Wait,
the
so
rest
you
of the
actually went
episode,
back and watched the
I
entire
watched the
episode?
entire episode. It was really enjoyable. Yes, it's one of the more enjoyable episodes that I've watched, way more than any of the Armageddon episodes. It was really good because it took a character in Reverse Flash. No, it was fantastic. They took the Reverse Flash that was in not the Tom Cavanaugh Reverse Flash, but the other Reverse Flash,
Yeah.
and they used him, and it was very good. Like the way they brought him back, they showed it so that if you didn't see his appearance on Legends, you would know what happened to him, and it actually worked, and he was really good in that. But it ruined it when it went to this. But they had another speed, so that was all really good. I got to say, I think it was very high, one of the higher ranked episodes in the season when I went back and looked at it the other day. But Diggle shows up to Thawne, who's in prison at Argus Station, to ask Thawne to open up that green box. He said he's went everywhere, high and low, asked everybody, and they can't understand how. Thawne knows exactly what is going on and says to him, the motivational speaking in the background, like
Charlie
you
says Travis still secretly watching all the CW shows.
wouldn't be able to tell you what happened with Batwoman or Supergirl or uh, Black Lightning at the end, or there's a couple that I didn't finish yet. So one day, Charlie, one day I will end up watching them all. But yeah, so he talks essentially. Think about the first season when he would give Barry the motivational speech to phase through the wall. That's essentially the exact same thing he does here with Diggle.
Oh
Talking him.
I because you sent me 2 videos to watch,
Yeah,
and I've literally only seen like maybe about a minute of a spliced up video of the ending of this episode, right?
yeah.
So I got the gist of it. But watching these 2 videos in their entirety, for one, now that Arrow is kaput, Diggle is going on to these random shows, having, like you said, the pep talks to the heroes. Kind of, it is the
Yeah.
equivalent to like I don't know. It's the grandfather like hero recruiting new heroes and making a new era of the DCCW. That's basically what it was down. It was passing down the torch to every single new hero coming on to the DCCW. But they all got canceled.
Yeah.
um, but so you're not getting an actual story arc for Diggle. And then all of a sudden he comes in, he's like, my life has been shit, and I can
Two
barely
years I haven't been home.
I haven't seen my wife in 2 years, and I haven't seen my kids, and this damn rock, this damn box is ruining my life. And I'm just like, why do I care? Why do I care?
No,
Like
you care from the Arrow thing, but then you've been dragged along
no,
so
no, no.
long.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You tease the Green Lantern, and then you're like, oh well, that's too easy. You can't just give somebody a Green Lantern ring. Happens all the fucking time in the comics, by the way. And they're like, no, he has to earn it, or he has to struggle with the idea of becoming a hero
Or
because
he
he
doesn't
hasn't been a
want
hero
it.
for 8 years, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why?
Doesn't know
Why?
how, doesn't know words. He's like, I don't know, don't really want to sacrifice my wife and kids, and like, my best friend and partner sacrificed his life to save the entire universe. That wouldn't have any effect on me. I'd just be like, nope, staying home with the kids. Don't want this pop. Listeners, I'm going to get into what exactly happens then. So he gives them the pep talk. The box opens. We see what can arguably be described as somebody shaking up a cosmic snow globe. Like that's probably the
Yeah,
effects, the special
yeah.
effects. Like it just looks like cosmic space in a bowl of soup, essentially. And then Diggle's like, "I don't want this," and throws the box away, and the box disappears. Like literally
Okay.
disappears.
so
It's
so
gone. It's gone now.
so
So you
like
ran around in
okay,
a circle for 2 years for
but
nothing.
but 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 Thawne, right? Thawne.
Yeah.
He says, "But I'll make you a deal. I'll help you open the box if you show me what's inside of it." And they're like, "Okay." And so he's like, "What were you feeling when you opened the box the first time?" He's like, "Oh, well, I was sad because my best friend had just died, and then I needed
Move
to get my
away.
family out to Metropolis." And they're like, "Oh, okay, so just get those feelings back." And I'm like, "That's all you had to do? That's all you had to do to open up this damn box, and it's taken you 2 years to do it?"
He went to
No.
science side.
I'm sorry. No. It's so stupid. And
I
then
will
he
say that
opens the
that's
box.
not the worst thing for me because of Eobard Time being from the future and just
Yes.
him
And
understanding.
then
That's
he opens the box, like you said, has this like just looking into a giant freaking space. Like that's all it is. It's just space. And I think it's like you can't even hear what the voices are saying. This whole idea of random voices yelling at him, don't know what the hell that is. Okay,
now,
whatever.
Clay. What do you think should have been there? It should have been in brightest day, in darkest night. That should have been what should have been in the
Do you know
background.
what should have been inside the box? A fucking ring.
I'm talking
That's
about the.
it.
I'm
You
just talking
have
about the
like
voice order. I'm
they're
talking about the
they're
voiceover.
trying to make this whole thing with Diggle be this very large, very important thing. And do you know what it finally feels like? This knowing what Charlie says, just an absolute slap in the face. It is bad that I still have hope we could see it. Wait, Charlie, because I'm telling you this right now. Do you know what this feels like, Heinz? This feels a like they planned all of this stuff for Green Lantern for freaking what's the actor's name?
David Ramsey.
Ramsey. So they said, "Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this." And then they saw the writing on the wall and they're like, "Hey, by the way, everything's about to get canceled. So let's just write your character off but have this really emotional Logan style send off. But nobody's going to see it." And they're only going to see the last 5 minutes of it. And for some reason, Ramsey was like, "That's awesome."
You know why I think he's agreed to it, Clay? It's because he directs episodes for all the shows, so he gets paid for the directing gigs as well. So I don't think he wants to burn any bridges and would like to
No, but
direct.
like it is a inside joke that like nobody got the punchline. Like this is the joke that nobody got the punchline except for Ramsey and everybody behind the camera.
Charlie nailed it. Like I think if I was keeping up with it, if I'm the Flash fan, I think it was a slap in my face. Like first of all, like that took away from a really good episode. Like you just and you ran in circles for 2 years. Like you literally went like you teased and teased and teased and teased, and then you threw it away. Like talk about destroying the little goodwill you had left with some of your fans
Yeah.
because they're on things. Every post I see from Warner Brothers Television is bombarded with Legend of you cancel Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman, yet you're talking about Pride and stuff like that. So like it doesn't seem like they're firing on all cylinders with this moving away from the DCCW as well. It a joke, Clay. I don't even know why. It's like I said, he should never have made any more appearances after Arrow. It's just the universe survived, and they thought the universe was going to keep going and thriving post Arrow, and we all know now that it's basically like the Hindenburg, essentially,
Yeah.
burst into flames. And another thing, folks, we'll be back for to do the final 2 episodes of Superman and Lois, but that's also a shit show. I implore you to go to my Twitter and check out where I broke down the release schedule for this past season because that was like we tried to do that show. I can't imagine if you had a podcast solely dedicated, because I've seen it for Supergirl, Arrow. I can't imagine you had a podcast solely dedicated to Superman and Lois, the TV show. You could never have it because of how many breaks it took. There's no way that you could keep up with that.
I mean, we've had this discussion before on our Superman and Lois episodes, so I'll keep this short. I just think that like whatever the change is coming to as far as DCCW, like I've seen several articles say that even though Superman and Lois is a great show, it might be on the chopping block because of some changes that WB may want to be making. And if that means we have to say goodbye to a really good show, I'm willing to say okay. if it means we have prioritizing of like greater content, you know?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Clay, because if you don't like, I'd rather see this good show go out now rather than it stick around and become a dumpster fire like some other shows would
Well,
be
it may
fastest
become
man
a
alive.
dumpster fire once Ramsey comes up in the finale of this show,
Like, how
of
it
this
can't be any
season.
more of a dumpster. Like, I forget what he was on in the finale of the last season, but like he showed up in the finale of the last season. I forget his whole appearance. So hopefully, if it's some nonsense, it's forgettable, and we can just focus on the episode. Or maybe their family shows up because he's gone back to Metropolis now and gave up the ring.
I legit think that he was there just to say that Argus couldn't help. I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, it's like that. It's sad. It's sad to see what I thought it was a little bit of a slap in the face, especially if you're an Arrow fan and you kept up with the other shows solely because of the tease at the series finale. I feel bad for you because Clay was right a long time ago, and silly old me was Charlie. I gave up at the start of this season when I didn't see him in Flash as Green Lantern. So they won't even say the goddamn word.
No,
Like, my
they'll say
God.
everything else. They'll say Source Wall. They'll say Cosmic Odyssey. They'll say like all sorts of stuff, but they will not say Green Lantern. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad. And don't give me none of this bullshit about, oh well, they're making Green Lantern Corps the TV show and Green Lantern the movie, so they can't say the Green Lantern
No,
phrase
I'm all
in
about
the
that.
show.
That's
Like
bullshit. Like we
it's
missed
bullshit.
John Stewart appearance in Zack Snyder's Justice League because they were doing something that we still haven't seen. Like it's just petty bullshit. Anyway, Clay, let's move on from that terribleness. So we have some
Move on to questions. The very first
yes.
question comes from Brent. Brent asked us, so because I said, there's not much going on. Travis wanted to talk about this awesome clip that he saw on air on the Flash. Any questions? And Brent says, what current DC project brings you joy right now? So, Travis, what about you? What DC project right now brings you joy?
Well, Young Justice just finished up, and that brings me great joy. That was fantastic. Black Adam and Shazam, both of them, I'm really excited for because I think that they both can be connected, and I'm really hoping to see it, by the end of Shazam, we be teased a Shazam versus Black Adam thing. I can't say the Flash because of the shit show. I can't say Aquaman because of the little bit of shit show as well for that.
No, not a shit show. She shit on the bed.
Sorry,
That's
yeah,
yeah,
shit the
yeah,
bed
yeah.
there. Sorry, I forgot. My bad. But those are clouded in crap. So and you know what, Brent? I was going to say Superman and Lois, but honestly, I love the show, but the release schedule has really pissed me off to a point like where I'm really debating next year, not watching it week by week. And if nothing has changed, I'm
Just
just
do
going to
parts A and part B on
yeah, like
our
I'm
review.
yeah, we're just gonna do half and half because I can't do that in some I can't do that myself. Like me here waiting and then what? It's gone for another twice this year. It's take twice since the new year. It's taken a month break. Twice. It's taken
No,
4 weeks
it's
off.
crazy, but like it's how many episodes is it? 15 episodes, 13
Yes,
episodes?
I've never
And
seen DCW do that with 20 episodes of Arrow or Flash. Like they don't spread them out that much. It's crazy.
no, just to think that these shows used to be weekly, right? And Superman and Lois, you get 6 episodes in 6 months.
You're not that far off. Like we got 15 episodes in 6 months. Well, we
Yeah.
will have when this is all said and done. Like it's crazy. It's just it I they had the time for a 23 episode show and they started it in January and they're like, "Oh shit. We only got 15 episodes. Okay, spread them out, boys." And it made no sense. Very frustrating. So Brent, yeah, that one doesn't give me as much joy as the show does, but the release date of the show, this whole season is frustrating. You know what? The first thing is so sad. The first thing I see when I see a new tweet of somebody saying like, "I just picked up Superman and Lois," is awesome. I'm instantly jealous. I'm like, are you kidding me? They don't have to put up with the bullshit that I had to for this season.
As Phobes has a comment about the finale of Superman and Lois. He says what they need is a post-credit scene teasing that they're going to tease Green Lantern.
Ah, Bubs,
So
you sound like a director.
the DC project that brings me joy right now, I would have to say, is going to be DC's Dark Knights of Steel is probably my favorite. It's a comic book, and it is basically what's it called? It's DC meets Game of Thrones. That's basically it.
Ooh, do.
Yeah,
That's
which I haven't
interesting.
seen. So I'm really enjoying this. It has a lot of twists and turns. It has a lot of play on some fun. Uh, and yes, Blue Beetle does bring me joy, but I need to see more of it. Like I saw the costume. It's great. I saw that Sholo did another picture with like the friend group in the movie, but like give me a clip with George Lopez on set. Give me something. Like I need more of that.
More of that good Blue Beetle stuff.
Yes, of
Like that
course.
costume was still crazy.
But currently, he said currently. So currently, right now, Dark Knights of Steel, the DC comic, is what brings me joy right now.
Well,
But
for me, then it's nothing because Young Justice just ended.
exactly.
God
So,
damn it, Smallville, Brent. I've been watching some of the old episodes of Smallville, so let's go with
oh
that.
man. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Charlie's
So sad.
question in the chat. He says, let's see here. Got a question. If you guys have time, which DC characters would you like to see cast the cast of The Boys play if they got a chance? So, for example, Huey, who is Jack Quaid, would be Barry Allen. Just out of the main group, Kimiko, Frenchie, Butcher, MM, and Huey. So you go ahead and go first.
Let's go one for one and
Okay.
who we think each person. So I'm going to go with Yui first, and I think Yui should play. Drumroll, please. Jimmy Olsen.
Okay, I could see it. I could see it. I went ahead and gave him the role of Elastic Man.
Ooh, that's a good one. I thought about that too, Clay, to be honest with you. I really did for Hero, but I thought he would be a good non-powered person as well. Okay, so
Yes,
guess we'll go.
and then well first All in the Game did make up a good point, and I did go ahead and use her main character in the Suicide Squad.
Who was she
Of
said released the
course,
haircut.
Karen is a part of the DCEU already as Katana, and that's who I chose for her.
I took Lady Shiva. We're looking for a speaking role for her this time, and I think that she would be great in that role.
All right, so uh uh
Butcher? Because I got a good one for Butcher.
Butcher's easy. Constantine, like it's
Wildcat.
see, no, I would much rather have I have Wildcat for a different person,
MM?
and that's MM.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I chose Wildcat for MM, but everybody like already fan casted Carl Urban as as Constantine anyway. So I was like, why not? No, I think he has like just basically give him instead of the black trench coat, a brown trench coat. Boom, he's Constantine. Give him some magic there. He's already there. You know.
I went with Steel for MM for me. John Henry Irons. I think he'd be good just even looking for the Superman and Lois
I
show. Be good with that
I
character.
had two for MM. My first one was Wildcat, but my second one was Jackson, was Black Lightning.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a good one too. I didn't even think about that, but I'd like a bigger. That'd be a big buff Black Lightning too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, I see
And
now,
then
Frenchie.
uh yeah, Frenchie was a hard one.
I went with a question.
The question?
Yeah,
See, I don't even have anything down for
the
Frenchie
other
yet.
one that I thought, the only other one that I thought was Trickster from The Flash for a villain.
No, I guess you don't have to choose a hero. You could choose a villain. Um, you know what?
Victor Zaz.
I was gonna say Toymaker.
Ooh,
So yeah.
I could see him
So
cutting himself too for every kill.
very, very nice. That one was really, really fun. And then he did have a second question. Charlie did. He says, uh, which do you think we're going to see first? Cavill back in the cape or Diggle show up in a full Green Lantern costume?
Oh my god, this is like Sophie's choice. Not really, because I don't want to see. I'm going with Cavill. I want to see. I'm just hoping that. Okay, let me paint the scenario. Black Adam makes $750 million worldwide, and The Rock can tease and fight Superman next.
I mean, I would much rather, and this is sad to say, it's not a good send off whatsoever. But if it means I get Cavill back in the costume at least once, just so The Rock can fulfill his "I'm a baby" contract and can't lose. Um,
I'm stronger than Superman.
exactly, um, because I swear, if we end up getting Diggle as Green Lantern before we see Henry as Superman again, like just fuck this whole franchise. Uh it's ridiculous. So
Watch,
that's
Diggle
my
shows
two
up with
cents.
Green Lantern at season finale.
That's
Superman
my two
mode.
cents. That's my 2 cents there. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that one.
I'm not that far off in agreement with you there, Clay. Or hope, we'll say hope and agreement. I don't want to see Diggle in this whatever's left of this DCCW as the Green Lantern. I don't even want to see the DCW's take on the Green Lantern costume. So I don't know. I just hope we see. I've been hoping we see Cavill back, but I don't know. I don't. If he doesn't get James Bond, maybe there's a better chance. But yeah, uh, Charlie, I've given up hope of seeing Diggle as Green Lantern. So I found
It's
finally
only
come to the
taken
conclusion.
you almost 3 years. Um, but that is it for the show. That was all of our questions. Um, man, we need some news, man, for
We
next week
do. We need some
because
trailers. We need some, like, maybe if people weren't causing great problems in the
maybe
news.
we'll finally hear that Ezra has killed somebody. I
Like,
mean,
can we get an official? Can we
knock
get an
on wood,
official
people. I'm
statement
not.
somewhere so that we can start talking about it rather than like getting all these like just. I need something. Can WB just do something and say like, "Oh, we've
Well,
completed our
I mean,
investigation."
let's just say that real quick, just to end us off. It wasn't even an official statement. It was an insider over at WB has already put out there that,
Yeah,
oh, regardless of what the
that's
outcome
happened
is,
twice already. Yeah.
uh, there will not be any further projects with Miller after the Flash. So we shall see. Good Lord, Clay. Yeah, I know. I know.
Very
That's what
startling, Brent. I had to take a couple minutes before we could even start the show. Like, he had a mustache at least the last time he did that, but
Brent also says Dig will be GL before Cavill is Superman. Fact. I'm 60-40. Hell no.
sounds like you didn't watch the most recent episode of The Flash.
Oh man.
Throwing
Well,
boxes. But
that is it, guys. Thank you so much for lasting this long. Thank you for being here every single week. Again, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Charlie, for joining the Patreon. And we will see you next week. Of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. Go into the link tree in the bio. You can find all the shows that I host, that including DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Ranger Alliance, and of course, Star Wars Alliance.
and you can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line. We can chat about DC anytime. Clay, thank you again for going early. Listeners, if you could be a DD out there, be one. That'll be how I close the show. Uh, also, I'm quite lame. I'm not at a concert. Well, my girlfriend is. So yeah, maybe I need to be a little bit more outgoing. So I'll be a little less DD. Not gonna lie, Clay, I opened up the fridge earlier and saw a beer, and like back of my head was like, "Do it, take the beer, take the
Can't
beer."
do it, man. You can't
No,
do it.
can't do it. Just can't. But yeah, thank you.
Uh oh, uh Brent, real quick, says, "Good Lord." Comment was about what you said regarding Ezra. Oh, yeah, exactly. I was joking. I was joking. I said, "Knock on wood, knock on wood." I don't want it to actually happen. But with that, we will see you guys next week.